It is Paul Jervy, the Moses of Finance, back with you one more time, teaching you God's money management framework from a certified financial planner's perspective. So this week, we're going to be talking about kids and money, delayed gratification. And so before I jump in, I always want to make sure that I do the YouTube thing, which is hit the like button and make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And if this information resonates with you, make sure that you share it with somebody who it could be beneficial. I wanted to talk a little bit about, one, why I think that you should consider the information that is coming from me. Number one, I am a certified financial planner. I own my own certified financial planning and wealth management firm and have done so for a few years now, and have a good amount of clients that have allowed me to manage their life savings and build their financial plan to their respective financial goals. But also, more importantly, I am a husband and I'm a father, and I am a father of 3 children. So at the time of this recording, my kids are 12, 9, and 3. And so being a financial planner and dealing with money, it is important to me to be able to encourage my kids on how they should think about money and what they should do with money and what money means. And so for this month, as I talk about kids and money, that's what I wanted to be able to portray. And, I'm still learning as my kids get older, because I know that their personalities, characteristics, and likes and dislikes and things of that nature are going to adjust. But I think that I have a pretty good foundation, especially understanding where I came from. And the reason that I got into finance was because my grandfather, who was a very good steward over his money, taught me how to manage his checkbook. And so, depending on your generation, you may be like, hey, what's a checkbook? But he taught me how to manage his checkbook. He used to write all his bills down on a legal yellow pad, and we would go through, look at his income, his pension, his Social Security, and those sorts of things, and what he had to pay and what was left over and what he would do with the leftover money. And then he would also take me to his financial advisor meetings. So I believe that that is a big reason as to why I got into the financial services world and have such a fondness for educating people when it comes to money. Because financial literacy is not something that is common. It's not part of our common sense. So it is something that has to be taught and a skill set that has to be developed. So without further ado, my focal scripture is Proverbs 22:6, which talks about raise up a child in the way that they should go, and when they get old, they won't depart from it. Now, there was a study or an experiment that was done back in the 1960s, and it was called the marshmallow experiment. You can Google it if you like. I can't remember the guy's name who did it, but basically what he did was he sat children down at a table, and he basically said, okay, I'm going to give you guys one marshmallow. And the children were obviously excited because, sugar, kids love marshmallows and stuff like that. But then he said, if you wait 15 minutes, you'll get 2. Some of the children couldn't wait the 15 minutes, ate the marshmallow up. They only got 1. But the kids that ended up waiting the 15 minutes ended up getting 2 marshmallows. And so from that, we see that this experiment shows the ability to delay gratification, which is our topic. And so it is an important skill set for children to learn, and it helps them make better financial decisions in life. And so, for example, the children that were able to wait the 15 minutes to get more marshmallows showed a tendency or a skill set that is going to help them save money, because they're going to be able to say, you know what, I don't need that right now. I'll wait. And if I wait, I'll have X amount of money and I'll be able to do this. So I wanted to get into several reasons as to why I think teaching children delayed gratification really and if you can at an early age, but I think it's best to get started when you can. And so it helps them learn to save for the future. When kids learn to delay gratification, they learn that they can't always have what they want right now. And that is something that I am dealing with right now with all three of my kids at each one of their stages. They want what they want right then and there. And, it is a mindset thing that is somewhat challenging to offset. And you can talk to them as much as you want to, and sometimes it just doesn't do any good. But when we help them understand and not necessarily talking at them to delay gratification, but actually showing them, it helps them develop a discipline to save money. And so Hebrews 12:11 says, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. The verse teaches us the very importance of discipline. It may not be, discipline is not something that is pleasant at the time. I think of athletes who have to go through rigorous training to get ready for a game, to get into the necessary shape. I'm a big sports entertainment fan of wrestling and other mixed martial arts like UFC and stuff like that. And the amount of training that they have to go through in order to do what they do, the discipline is very, very painful, but it produces a reward. And for them, if they're successful, it produces a great financial reward. And so what I try to teach my kids every time that they get money is we have an envelope system. We do give, save, spend. Give, save, spend. Who do we give to? We give to God. So I teach them about giving the tithe. And then we talk about giving to ourselves. Because a lot of times people don't think about giving to themselves. They think about giving to, which again is highly important, but giving to the rent, the mortgage, the electric bill, whatever, first before they do their source, which is God, and then taking care of themselves. Because I'm a big believer that you have to take care of yourself today so that you'll have something in the future. And this is why people have the ability to retire, because they're able to delay using some of their money today so that they can use it later. And then it's just all about making sure that their money works. But I teach them give, save, spend. And so I usually start out, I think with my 12-year-old, we started out with 10% to the Lord, and then 70% was to savings, and then 20% they could put in their spend envelope. And we kept doing that. And then as my 12-year-old got older, we shifted the numbers a little bit. And those are just my numbers, but you can use whichever numbers that you want. But that is a discipline that they do now have whenever they get money. They know that they have to put 10% in their give envelope. They have to put whatever percentage they have to in their save, and then they know that they have their spend money. And when it comes to things that they really, really want, we talk about, okay, well, daddy just got you these new glasses. Mommy and daddy just took you on this trip. Your dance recital had this going on. Your soccer team had this going on. So I don't think right now is the best time for mommy and daddy to get this major purchase, but you can get it because you have money that you've saved up. So how much do you have? Well, I have $30. Okay, well, how much is the thing that you want? Well, it's $50. Okay, well, let's figure out what we can do to get, some additional money, and then we'll put it through the process, and hopefully that you have that $50, and then you can get what you want. And usually what ends up happening is once they realize that they have to spend their own money, they don't want to spend it, they want to hold on to it. And now I'll wait until something else comes up. That's usually what happens in my household. The next one is it helps them avoid debt. Delayed gratification does help them avoid debt, because when you think about it, if you're delaying the purchase of something, then you do offset getting into debt. Most of the time, we as adults, we get into debt because we want something, right then and there. And sometimes we do need it. So if you need a car, then you don't necessarily have the money for the car, so you have to go into debt for the car. If you can and you do have the ability to write the check, perfect. If you're ready to get a house, you have to go into debt to get a house. But I don't, there's certain things that I don't think that you need to go in debt for, such as, TVs. I don't think that you need to go in debt over TVs, certain things like that. But you always, if you can, you want to go into debt for something that is going to yield some type of return for you. A car is going to get you to point A to point B. A house is going to accumulate in value. Maybe you end up getting like a duplex or something like that, and you end up, renting out one half and you live in the other, and then the person who's renting pays off your mortgage for you. Number three, it helps them make better financial decisions. And the example that I talked about earlier, whenever I position my kids with a proposition where they have to spend their own money, 9 times out of 10, they always want to spend daddy's money because they want their envelope to look big. They want their account to look big. And so they usually will put off getting what they've been saving for, and then they'll wait for something else. And usually what ends up happening is they start spending the money on snacks, candy, that sort of thing. But they have so much money, so they're like, well, I'll get this now, and then I can come back and I can get more. And then they usually wait until the big things for mommy and daddy to get. But I think that this kind of is a good segue because it helps them with self-control. And so self-control. So with making better financial decisions and self-control, one of the things that has helped my kids in doing this is we play Monopoly together. And so they're able to learn how to play Monopoly, and they make financial decisions on, okay, should I buy this property? Should I not buy this property? Should I get the railroad? Should I get the utility? Should I put another house on here? Should I focus on getting a hotel on this strip? Do I need to get a mortgage? Do I need to work out a deal with somebody to get what I want to get? So, playing Monopoly has helped them with financial decisions, but also self-control as well. And so I think Proverbs 13:2 puts it best. It says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. The verse teaches to wait for something good and then getting it immediately. It teaches patience. Patience is the ability to wait with the right attitude. And so when you are delaying the gratification, you're going to get what you want. You're just not going to get it at that moment. And what you want most likely isn't going to change, and it's going to be there in some form or fashion. And then lastly, studies have shown that if you delay gratification, it does help you become more successful. So studies have shown, as I said, that teach people who are good at delaying gratification, they're more likely to be successful in school, work, and in life. And so here are some helpful tips that can help you get started. Number one, you want to start small. I don't want you to expect your kids to be a success at this overnight. Delayed gratification is not something that just happens instantaneously. So work with them at it. And number two, you want to be consistent. But you don't always have to start it with money. You can play a game. This can be also where you use dessert as something that you delay gratification for, or a snack. Or, it can be a juice or something of that nature. Drink water throughout the day, and then later on you get the juice, something like that. But be consistent at it. As long as you're continuing and you're being repetitive is something that helps develop the subconscious mind, which is your memory bank, which ultimately fuels your reoccurring habits. Make it fun. Kids always want something that's going to make it fun. And so then you also want to be a role model. Don't just be a talker of this, but you want to be a doer. You want to be a doer, somebody that's putting the action to work. Why? Because more is caught than taught. Your kids are watching everything that you do. And so if you're not one that's practicing what you preach, then in their mind, it's like, well, mommy and daddy don't do it, so why should I do it? So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I wanted to chat with you about today. I think delayed gratification is something that is direly important in teaching the kids to understand why it's important when it comes to money, but also other things. But remember, we're going to be in our lifetime, we're going to be accumulating a good amount of wealth. And so some of that wealth we're not going to be able to use in our lifetime. So it is going to be transitioned to them. And you want to make sure that the wealth that you're transitioning to them, they have the skill set and ability and the mindset to be able to handle what you're going to be leaving them, but also teach those same skills to their children. That's how you leave an inheritance to your children's children. I'm the Moses of Finance. I'll catch you down the road.